So Michael Popok, legal AF. Well, if you call 1 month in prison and 3 months of home confinement justice, well, then justice was done today in the New York federal court when the person who stole and ultimately led to the publishing of Ashley Biden and her diary after stealing it and crossing state lines with it, that's what she was sentenced to by federal Judge Swain today in federal court. Now, I found it surprising because I think that the impact on both Ashley Biden and on Joe Biden and on our justice system was greater than a 1 month sentence in jail and 3 months of home confinement. Now, I get that the charge was conspiracy to transport stolen goods, but even the Department of Justice urged Judge Swain to throw the book, if you will, at Aimee Harris, who is the woman who stole Biden's diary, because she had showed no remorse and was completely flouting the system. Now, the purpose is that I'll tell you how Aimee Harris got a hold of Ashley Biden's diary in a moment, but she did. And then she wanted to hurt Joe Biden by using the most intimate and personal and embarrassing details. Think about what you would write in a diary if you didn't think anybody would ever read it. And that's Ashley Biden, somebody who has publicly struggled with drug addiction, with depression, just as her brother Hunter Biden. I mean, that's one of the sort of the dirty underbellies of most families. There are people that suffer in families, and Hunter Biden certainly has been circling the drain for a period of time until he righted himself, and Ashley Biden too. I mean, I'm not an armchair psychologist, but I do know that family went through some tremendous trauma very early in life, in childhood or in young adulthood, for Joe Biden having had, on the eve of him being inaugurated or actually sworn in as a senator, the youngest senator we've ever had actually at the time, Joe Biden lost his wife and children in a car accident. And these were the surviving children. We'll leave it at that. But how did Aimee Harris get her hands on it? And why was it only a 1 month prison sentence and 3 months of home confinement? Well, the what happened is relatively straightforward. Ashley Biden, during COVID, shared a house in Delray Beach, Florida, with a person that she knew. I don't think she was dating him, but she knew him. And during COVID, when people were moving and shuffling around and leaving big cities, she went and stayed in Delray Beach and brought some things with her, including her diary. She subsequently left, but we're still during the COVID period here. And, I think people not intending to abandon her property, Ashley Biden left it behind with the intent of picking it up at a later time and bringing it back to wherever she ended up. She moved out. Aimee Harris moved in. Another friend who shared a friendship with the same person owned the house. And lo and behold, and sniffing and snooping around the house, she found a bag of belongings belonging to Ashley Biden, including her diary. Rather than pick up the phone like a normal, ethical, moral human being or emailing and contacting Ashley Biden and say, hey, you left some of your most personal items laying around, including your diary. I'd like to return them to you. No. In the MAGA mind of Aimee Harris, her thought was, let me contact Project Veritas, a phony media outlet, right-wing MAGA outlet that likes to try to embarrass try to embarrass Democrats, including Joe Biden. And they wanted to get their hands on that item. And Aimee Harris saw an opportunity in a craven way, in a way to make money. So she sold it along with another guy that she contacted, who has not yet been sentenced, for $40,000. Took in the money. I think she got the first payment of $20,000. That was her first intent, because she wanted to hurt Joe Biden, and so did her co-conspirator. And so Project Veritas got a hold of the Biden diary. And there's even reporting that diary was shown around a fundraiser in Florida, if you can believe it, because the other person involved in the conspiracy brought it with him and showed it to Don Jr. Think about that. That came out. Don Jr. is thumbing through Ashley Biden's diary. I mean, if we produced this in a made for TV movie, nobody would believe it. And then it gets sold. They go thumbing through it. They find things out of context or in context, personal, private matters, intimate matters between Ashley Biden and her God or maker. And they decide to publish it. and embarrass Joe Biden and try to undermine his ability to defeat Donald Trump. You all know I'm a coffee fanatic, and I'm super excited to tell you about AeroPress. AeroPress coffee uses a patented brew method that gets the purest flavors from the beans and speeds things up so coffee doesn't get over-extracted. You get a smooth, rich, bitter-free cup of coffee that tastes as good as the smell of freshly roasted beans. AeroPress is like a French press that makes a way better cup of coffee. AeroPress uses a patented 3-in-1 brew technology that combines the flavor benefits of espresso, pour-over, and French press into one compact, portable device built for travel. You get a completely unique and delicious cup of coffee wherever you go, only possible with an AeroPress. With over 55,000 five-star reviews in over 60 countries, AeroPress is the best-reviewed coffee press on the planet. At just under $50 and with all those great reviews, AeroPress makes an exceptional gift. Thoughtful, proven, tasty, and travel-oriented. Who wouldn't love that? Gift receipt not needed. AeroPress travels better than others too. It's compact and incredibly durable. That means you'll never have to endure terrible coffee at the hotel, on the job, or on an adventure again. AeroPress brews and cleans in less than 2 minutes. Literally add coffee, pour water, stir for 10 seconds, brew for 30, then press into your favorite mug, rinse, and enjoy. AeroPress is shockingly affordable, less than $50, and we've got an incredible offer for our audience. Visit aeropress.com/legalaf. That's AEROPRESS.com/legalaf and use the promo code legalaf to save 20% off your order. That's aeropress.com/legalaf and be sure to use code legalaf at checkout to save 20%. It's time to ditch the drive-thru, toss the French press, and say yes to better mornings fueled by better coffee. AeroPress ships to the USA and over 60 countries around the world, and we thank AeroPress for sponsoring our show. And for that, we have a name for that in criminal law, in federal criminal law. It's conspiracy to transport stolen goods because they went from Delray Beach, Florida to the location outside of Florida. Now is time, after she pled guilty to the count, it's time for Judge Swain to sentence her. And she heard from Ashley Biden, and she heard from others, and she heard from a very tearful, they always get tearful, the MAGA. The MAGA always get tearful when they're about to be sentenced. But Trump may also. And in her very tearful apology, she apologized to Ashley Biden, and she apologized to Joe Biden, and she apologized to whomever she could think of to apologize to. And even though the judge at one time during sentencing called her actions despicable, when it came time to sentencing her, I guess because she's a first-time offender, maybe she bought part of the story that Aimee Harris was selling, that she was the victim of domestic violence and had her own issues, and bought into the apology, and sentenced her, did adopt the Department of Justice's recommendation of a prison term, but made it for 30 days. I mean, listen, I've never served time in prison, but 30 days sounds like it's pretty light for having completely destroyed Ashley Biden's personal life and made money off of it in doing it. And yes, there's going to be another person who's probably slightly more culpable sentenced soon. And I'm assuming he'll get more than a month. Attention, judge, on this particular issue. But, you know, I started the hot take the way I'm going to end it. Is this justice? I ask you. I ask the people in our audience. Has justice been done? Now, we can always do the whataboutisms. What about Trump? Why is he able to delay? Well, you know, but we haven't gotten to the point of match here. It hasn't been symmetrical. We haven't had a Donald Trump conviction or plead guilty and a sentencing, and then we'd have, you know, sort of the one-on-one match. But I'm not happy, and I want to express it here, with what I think is a very lenient and light sentence. I mean, you can throw yourself at the mercy of the court, but the court still has to fashion a sentence that prevents other people, right, from doing it. I'm not sure this sends the message to MAGA that they shouldn't steal laptops and diaries of the children of a president and then publish it. What if it were Ivanka Trump? What if it were Marla Maples' kid, Tiffany Trump? What if it was Eric or Don Jr. or the private diaries of Melania Trump illustrated? Who knows? Would they only get a month for having done that? And what would Donald Trump be saying about it? Wouldn't he be jumping up and down? I don't see Donald Trump, who's supposed to be the father figure, God help us, of the United States as part of, in wanting to be the occupant of the Oval Office, I don't see him running to do any kind of social media embrace of poor Ashley Biden, who had her life ripped apart. We do a lot on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF trying to catch the social media post by Donald Trump and do whole hot takes on it. Where's the ones for that shows his character or morals as a father? Would he want it to happen to Ivanka or his other children? He doesn't think they have diaries. How about Melania? How about some pictures from her past? He wants them sold and published, and or people rifling around her computer server or garbage, finding things about her. If that happened, we'd be hearing from Donald Trump left, right, and every which way. So I don't think justice was done here. I don't think this sends the right message. If the message is you get to go to prison for 30 days and then come out a martyr, I think then Judge Swain, you did the right thing. But if the message was supposed to be, don't try this at home, right? To stop criminality, then I think this failed. But we'll have to continue to follow. We don't blow smoke or sunshine here on the MeidasTouch Network or on Legal AF. I certainly don't. And we do it, if not here, we do it on a hot take like this one about every hour right here on the MeidasTouch Network. If you like my work, you can slide over to playlists on the YouTube for MeidasTouch, and you'll find Michael Popok and then all of my body of work. There's over 1,000 hot takes going back over a year and a half. And then I do a podcast that I co-founded and co-anchored on Wednesdays and Saturdays. We call it Legal AF around here. If you join us at 8 p.m. Eastern time on this YouTube channel, you'll know why we call it Legal AF. We curate the top 5 stories at the intersection of law and politics, and we bring them to you right here. And then you can also pick it up wherever you get your audio podcasts from. Just look under Legal AF. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know, and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.